What's up, guys? Good to see you, Xavier.
Morning, Gene.
It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you doing today?
Fan friggin' tastic, man. Give me a success story.
So since Tuesday, I've only ran one true call. It was yesterday, and it was a little bit of a weird one. Originally thought the client was supposed to be there. He ended up not being there. It was his son that was there. So I was having to do all the communication over the phone. Um, I tried to run through the process as much as I could with, asking them if I happen to find any deficiencies, would you like to know about them? Doing as much as I could. But I definitely established the need for a few items. I didn't want to go too deep into things, but I actually scheduled him on August 3rd to come back out, sit down with him to go over everything. He does currently use another really big service provider company in the area. So he has a membership with them and everything. And he was really considering dropping them and using us, but he didn't want to double up on memberships. But I really think I can capture that when we actually do go back and sit down. But I just took care of his immediate need yesterday and hoping to nibble and get more when I actually have to go back and talk to him. I think you're muted.
One second. All right, we're good. How much is his agreement with the other company? Do you know?
I do not know. It is with Milestone, if you're familiar with them.
Yep.
Um, so he said he uses them for pretty much everything and he really likes them. I was like, I can tell you one thing about them. They're a great company, but I know that we're going to come at a lower price point because I even saw their proposal for the repair sitting on the counter.
Right.
Um, and I was like, I know that we're going to come in at a lower price point, and I know that we provide better service than them. I can guarantee that. So when I go back and sit down with him, I'm hoping that I can really demonstrate that and get him locked in on our membership and move forward with a few other items that we talked about over the phone.
Have you shared pricing with him yet?
I shared pricing with him on only the immediate items that we talked about. So the reason why we went out there was his AC disconnect was actually completely melted. So gave him three different options with the AC disconnect, either just replacing that and adding a surge protector on the disconnect, and then disconnect AC surge protector, whole home surge protector, and grounding system. Those were the three immediate needs, but I didn't want to bombard him over the phone, especially since he was
Sure.
at work and distracted. I want to get his full attention and then show him everything. But he was really interested in getting that full evaluation report. So yeah, that's why we have that additional visit set up.
Reason I was asking is you might be able to include a little bit of extra money in each of the items and buy back his agreement from the other company.
That is true.
We've done a lot of maintenance agreement buybacks in order to get people into the family. The other thing is when you're getting permission to go over anything that you might find that'll give them challenges in the future. When you say, now, should I find any deficiencies? And I'm not saying that I will. Would you like to know about them, is what you said. What does the actual scripting say?
Uh, Not sure what the actual scripting says, but I typically say, "Would you like me to share them with you?" That's what
That
I have locked in every time.
that's better.
Okay.
Because what came out of your lips was, would you like to know about them? Would you rather somebody let you know about something or share something with you?
I'd rather have someone share with them with me.
100%. Everybody always wanted the other kids to share their toys when we were young.
Yep.
Cool, man. And so what was what's the total of what you quoted?
So with the three different
Ish.
options, first one that he went with, just because he wanted to get his AC back up and running, was 524. The second option, I actually have it right here. Second option was four plus 373.
It's okay if
Second
you
one
don't
was
know if you don't know
897.
offhand.
And the third one was 2792.
Got it. And is there any price flexibility in there?
There is. We had a pretty in-depth conversation about it. So he was really close with going with the membership for us, but he ended up not just that day because he didn't want to double up on electrical memberships because he has the one with Milestone. So there was talk about, he can receive an additional 15% off if he did go with the membership with us. But he's like, he was really thinking about it for a while. We went back and forth. I was giving him information, and he's like, you know what? Today we're just do the full price on it. But yeah, when you come back out, I may have you do some of the other items, just because there were some large items in there that really need to be addressed, and we'll talk about it then.
And he
So
does
yeah,
not have an agreement with Milestone for HVAC?
um, I would assume with Milestone they have an agreement for all three trades.
Yeah.
Uh, because it was HVAC that went out there, and they quoted them. I want to say 797 for replacing that.
Okay,
And
got it. So he did get a quote from them on that.
yes,
Okay, cool. And so you're following up when?
August 3rd.
Cool. So what are the other things that are on the list or that you're going to go over with him in addition to that stuff?
So he has a lot of GFCI protection throughout the home that is either missing or just not functioning, or not functioning very well.
Okay.
So he's missing quite a bit of that. All of his smoke detectors are original to the home. They're all dated 2006, so they're definitely due for replacement. Um, the grounding system for the home, his main ground wire that goes to his ground route outside, looks like it was cut. So that's not even connected at all. So that's a big item that I brought to his attention over the phone. There are a few other odds and ends stuff that I'll bring to his attention too, but those are the high priority items, the high safety concern items.
Cool. So I'm going to ask you a couple questions about those. Are you going to put a generator on the list?
I typically do,
Good.
or at least try to bring up the conversation because I want to get one of those big ticket items on there to give them something to say no to. Um,
100%. Good. I'm glad that you're already thinking that way. So the GFCI issue. Let's jump into a role play. Let's pretend that I'm the client and that you're going to establish a need for the GFCI work.
okay,
And when we jump into role play, don't tell me what you're going to say. Just say it.
okay,
Cool.
cool.
Let's rock and roll.
Hey, hey, Gene. So I finished up with the electrical evaluation throughout your home, and remember when you said that you wanted to or wanted me to share with you if I happen to find anything throughout the home?
Yep.
Would you still like me to share those items with you?
Not really, but I'm sure you're going to.
Well, there are items throughout the home that just due to age and using items throughout the home, things have started to wear down and it's taken away safety from your home. Are you familiar with the term GFCI or shock protection?
Not really.
Okay. Have you seen those outlets throughout your home that have that test and reset buttons on them? They're actually shining a big bright red right now.
Yeah.
So those give you shock protection throughout the home and they go in any sort of wet area. Were you aware that if water gets in something or you plug in an appliance that something has gone wrong with it, they actually turn off to help prevent you and your family from being shocked?
Okay.
Oh, did you know that?
Mm-mm.
So those are a really big safety device. Uh, I noticed throughout your home, you do have some areas that are actually not functioning properly. So in your kitchen, those are a few areas on the kitchen countertops that it's just not working at all. Same thing with your jacuzzi tub. How often do you use your jacuzzi tub downstairs?
A couple times a week.
A couple of times a week? Okay. So, did you know that if something went wrong, if water got inside one of the electrical parts in your jacuzzi tub, that outlet isn't actually going to turn off and that water is going to become electrified essentially? What do you suppose we should do about that?
Fix it.
And you like me for me to take care of that for you today?
Well, how much is it going to cost?
So I'll get you the pricing on all of that. I actually have it broken down here, but I want to make sure that I go over all this information from you just to answer any of your questions before we do happen to go over price. How's that sound?
I don't care what you want.
Well, how does that sound? I want to make sure that you get all the information first.
Sounds fine.
Perfect. and then I'll start going over other items.
Go over the other items. I'd love to
Okay.
hear how you're establishing a need for them.
So let's see. Another one is on the outside of the home. Do you know that big metal box out there where the power company actually reads how much electricity that you're using?
Yeah.
So that is one of the main central points of your home's electrical system. Where power comes in from the utility from underneath, that pipe is actually separated. While your son Joshua and I were outside, we actually watched a few wasps fly in there and go up into that meter base. Do you think that's good?
No.
It's really not. So something with that, one thing that I would recommend is you can actually call the utility company and they can take a look at it. But I did also notice that you like to store pool chemicals around your electrical equipment, especially in the garage. Were you aware that pool chemicals stored in even the same room as any sort of metal can cause corrosion?
Hmm.
So, do you know what corrosion can do to metal?
Yes.
Uh, what does it do?
Corrodes it.
Exactly. And so one thing that it does is it causes permanent and irreversible damage. So I'd like to show you the electrical panel, and I'll either take them to the electrical panel or I'll show them pictures depending on how they want to. But I do like to show them things like that in person. Um, but I'll show them the electrical panel and I'll show them the discoloration and ask them, does this look good? Gene, does this look good?
Mm-mm.
What do you suppose we should do about this?
I don't know. You're the expert.
So typically with something like this, like I mentioned before, it does do permanent or irreversible damage. Once it starts to corrode enough, it can cause issues throughout your entire home with the electrical system. It can affect all your appliances, your lights, everything like that. So we typically look at replacement. So is this something that you would like more information on, like for me to take care of for you today?
Yeah. How much is it going to cost?
Same thing. I have it all written down. One thing with our pricing is we have straightforward pricing. So that's my assurance to you that no matter what neighborhood you lived in, I'm not trying to figure out how much money you have in your wallet. No matter how well you negotiate, everyone pays the same price. Besides members, they do get an exclusive rate. So I'll make sure to go over all that with you, as well as the details of that exclusive member rate with you. How's that sound?
Just fine.
Perfect. If you like, we could step back inside. I'll go over. So your smoke detectors, how long have you lived in the home for?
3 years.
3 years? Okay. So typically with something like this, it would be caught on a home inspection report just due to the age. But were you aware that smoke detectors expire in about 10 years?
Nope.
So would you believe that with smoke detectors, they have a filter inside of them? And just imagine this for a second. If you did not replace your furnace filter for your HVAC unit for 10 years, what that would look like inside of it.
Not good.
Uh, really not good. And that's exactly what's going on up in your smoke detectors. So, do you understand now why, after about 10 years, you're supposed to replace the entire units themselves?
Don't ask me if I understand. Say, can you
Okay.
see now why?
Can you see now why? Okay.
Our clients, boom,
Can you
right?
see now why our clients replace their smoke detectors in about 10 years?
Yeah, makes sense to me.
Perfect. And you'd like for me to take care of that for you today as well?
Why do you keep asking me if, why would you keep closing on me without the price?
Although that's typically what you do the trial close.
Okay. It's a lot of trial closes.
So,
And I'm gonna be asking you about the money a lot,
mhm.
right? I've already asked you about the money 3 times or twice. And when you ask me if I want to do it again, I'm probably do people say that to you? How much is it?
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. So, FYI, my response when they ask me how much something is, and I'm not ready to go over the pricing with them, I just say, I promise I'll go over all that with you at the end. No,
Okay.
really, Gene, how much does it cost? I promise I'll go over all that with you at the end.
Okay.
You
Yeah,
ever had
keep it short
anybody
and simple.
you ever had anybody press you into giving them the price right there?
Hmm.
And so, me too. And I remember one time I was talking about a surge protector outside, and I had a list that was probably $10,000 long. And the guy pressured me on how much is a surge protector. And I was like, I promise I'll go over all that with you at the end. And he just kept hitting me and hitting me and hitting me. Finally, I gave him the price. And he's like, that's ridiculous. That's highway robbery. Do you think he wanted to hear anything else I was going to say?
Nope.
No, not at all. So once you give them the price, they don't need you anymore.
Mhm.
So I would avoid asking them, what do you think we should do about this? So many times. That's all.
Okay.
I would maybe work in some other closes, like, and bring in herd and pack mentality. Can you see now why our clients replace their smoke detectors after 10 years rather than having a life-changing event because a smoke detector didn't go off?
Okay.
Can you just see that there's just a little bit of a difference there? And I'm
Yeah.
bringing in herd and pack mentality and what other people do so that they feel safe, that, they're making the right choice.
Hmm.
Cool.
Makes sense.
Let's talk about the grounding.
Hmm. So, with the grounding, were you aware that your home has a whole home grounding system? It's essentially the safety system for your home. It's a communication wire that goes between the ground and the breakers to tell the breakers to turn off to protect your home in case something does happen.
Okay.
And did you know that the main wire for that outside, is actually not connected to anything?
Okay.
So with that, it could have been cut by someone, or it could have been uh, just damaged by a weed eater. We see that happen fairly often, more than I'd like to admit. But this is something that, if that's not connected, it could potentially start to affect a lot of things throughout your home and cause weird issues throughout the home as well. So, do you see why more of our clients have that whole home grounding system, that whole home safety system, rather than having your appliances become damaged or potential hazards pop up within the home?
I think we could do better on establishing a need for that one.
I
Like,
agree.
what really could go wrong? And please don't use the word potentially.
I wrote that down in my notes
What?
yesterday
Yeah, why would I want you to eliminate that word?
because it's given the impression that something, it might happen, it might not.
But probably not.
Yeah, probably not. That's how people typically take that.
And I would hate for somebody to lose their life because of my language and it wasn't serious enough.
I agree.
You know what I mean? So let's try again on that one. You're doing a good
Okay.
job.
Yeah, use the word cause instead of potentially. Okay. So, did you know that your home has a grounding system, which is a big safety system for all of the electricity inside of your house?
A big safety system.
Yes. So, by safety system, what it does is it's a communication wire between the ground and your breakers to tell those breakers to cut off the electricity to protect your home in case a major event or just something goes wrong. And so it
Like
protects your
what?
family. So one thing that can happen is if lightning were to strike nearby on a utility pole or transformer were to blow, that electricity is going to go everywhere because that's a lot of electricity. If you do not have that grounding system, that safety system in place, where do you think that electricity has to go?
I
It
don't
can't
know.
go into the ground. It goes into your electronics. What
Oh,
do you think a surge or a lot of electricity can do to your electronics in your home?
blow them up.
It can definitely blow them up. Were you aware that even with smaller surges, with motors like your AC units and things like that, it can actually cause them to glow bright cherry red on the inside?
Mm,
You think that's good?
nope.
And what do you think that does to their reliability?
Reduces it.
That is for certain. Do you want to see
Say I
why?
agree with you.
I agree with you. That's definitely something that can happen.
Those words, those four words are so powerful. I agree with you.
Mhm.
Why?
Because you're agreeing with the conclusion that they came to themselves.
And I'm making them what?
Feel important, feel knowledgeable,
It's a
feel
five-letter word that
understood,
starts with an R, ends with a 8.
feels right. They
Yeah,
feel right.
I'm making them feel right. When was the last time that somebody like agreed with you or said, "Dude, I agree with you"? There can be no sale without an agreement,
Right.
or without agreement. And Todd Lyles, you ever heard of that name, Todd Lyles?
I have not.
He's also another sales trainer, and I went to one of his classes. Shoot, probably back in the early 2000s, and he said that a lot. I agree with you, and it made me feel good every time he said it. And I was like, man, I'm gonna pick that up and I'm gonna steal that. I'm gonna use that for sure.
Let me steal that real quick.
Yeah, I agree with you, and it's the way that you say it, right? I agree with you. I agree with you. And then when somebody says that to you, man, I agree with you. How does that make you feel?
Makes you feel good.
And what is our job?
Make our clients or to get into their emotions.
And make them feel good about
Mhm.
buying from us. That really is your whole job, Xavier,
Mhm.
to make customers feel good about buying from you. Also, going to give you another tip. When you're asking these questions, sometimes you can ask multiple questions in a row without the client having to answer.
Right.
Like, I've watched some guys use this process. The the did you know, were you aware, so you didn't know, so you weren't aware, all that stuff, and they have the client answer each and every single little question.
Mhm.
And that can start to feel really, really awkward with the client. Can start to feel like an interrogation. So sometimes I'll ask two, three, four questions just back to back without them answering them. I'll give you an example. You've probably seen the surge protection script. So let's just go over it. You're the client. Mr. Baker, why don't you have surge protection?
I thought I did. I have the plug strips.
Oh, okay. I mean, on your air conditioning system, why don't you have surge protection?
I don't know.
Did you know that we get over 1.2 million cloud to ground lightning strikes a year here in this area? And when that happens, we get in home surges. And did you know that when you get an in home surge, that your compressors, motors can glow cherry red on the inside? Do you think that's good?
It doesn't sound good.
There was three questions in a row right there.
Yeah.
What do you suppose that does to the reliability of your system
Probably decreases it.
and the lifespan?
Same thing.
Have you ever purchased a new compressor before?
No, I have not, Gene.
So you weren't aware that a new compressor could cost you $5,000 to $7,000?
Ouch. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. Can you see now why all of our clients just get surge protection instead of replacing expensive compressors, motors, maybe even a whole system?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I'm able to ask multiple questions in a row. And the questions that I'm asking are almost rhetorical. What does rhetorical mean?
You don't require an answer.
Yeah, I mean, they say, or I've heard, or one of my mentors told me, that a good salesperson never asks a question that he doesn't already know the answer to, or how the client's going to answer. Now, I know that's not able to be done 100% of the time, but it's a good rule to follow.
Right.
Um, so, yeah, I ask a lot of questions that are almost rhetorical that I would normally state at a client or tell them, but why do I want to ask them questions instead of tell them?
Because you want them to come to their own conclusion.
And I want to make sure that their brain stays what? Starts with an E.
Engaged.
Yes. Have you ever been standing with a client? Maybe they're 70, 75 years old. This happens a little bit more with the older people. Maybe it's a widow or a widower, and you've completed all the work. They've even paid you. You got your clipboard underneath your arm, but they just keep talking. Talk, 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 talk. And you're sitting there shaking your head, being polite and everything. And then all of a sudden, you kind of drift off. You're not even really listening to what they're saying, but they're shaking their head. Has this ever happened to you?
Yep, it has.
So I'll never forget the first time that happened to me, man. Uh, I had just bought my first house. The water sucked in the house, and it was giving us all kinds of problems. And so I called the water softening guy out, and he sits down at my round glass dining room table, unfolds this yellowed sheet of newspaper, and begins to talk about his resin. When he said resin, I went on a day trip, dude. Like I didn't understand anything he was talking about. And I went, resin, resin, resin. I wonder what resin is. Only resin I've ever heard of is that ball that my brother brought home, left on the table, and got in trouble with my mom. Right? I literally, I was like, I was gone for like 3 or 4 minutes thinking about this resin stuff. And towards the end, he kind of came back crystal clear again. He was all blurry. I wasn't even paying attention to him. And I went, oh my gosh, this is what I've been doing to my customers. I've been talking about amps and microfarads and volts and all this other stuff, the flux capacitor.
Yep.
And I went, holy crap. And I looked at him and I went, stop. And he goes, yeah. I said, what's resin? And he told me there are these little beads with these little cracks in them, and they attract the calcium and magnesium in the water. And when they can't hold anymore, they release it out into the yard. Right. And I was like, wow, this is what I've been doing to my customers. I got to start asking questions instead. Right. So it helps to keep their brain engaged. And then, yes, they do come to their own conclusion that something needs to be done. It's way better for them to come to it. One of the other critiques, if you will, that I have for you, you do say or did say several times what you would like to do. I'd like this or I'd like that. Those are words that I eliminate because in my estimation, when I come out to their house, they really don't care what I want.
Mm-hmm.
They don't care what I need. They don't care what I'd like to do. So I eliminate those things. I need, you need, I want, those types of things I'm going to eliminate, right? How do you like it when somebody tells you what you need to do?
I'm a very stubborn person. I really don't like it.
Yeah, Dana just gave us the double bird. That's what he did. Right? Most people are like that, dog. Like what internally, what's the voice or what are the words that come to your mind when I tell you what you need to do?
It depends on the context. Something like this, I take it in, but other things, I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
Right. Don't tell me what to do is typically the response inside of people's heads.
Yeah.
Don't tell me what to do. Right. You get yourself into a world of hurt that way. So let's eliminate that. And then the grounding thing, man, I feel like we got to really make it connect. Like, and I don't know as much about this as you, but I'm just going to throw out a couple of questions, right?
Yeah.
Mr. Baker, why isn't your grounding system hooked up?
My grounding system?
Yeah, were you aware that there's a wire that goes from your electrical panel down into the ground at least 6 feet, and that its purpose is to send electricity into the ground if anything ever goes bad, instead into you? Were you aware that if you don't have that grounding wire, that you could be sitting in a bathtub or that jacuzzi down there, and when something goes wrong, maybe like a lightning strike or a big surge, that electricity won't have a wire to get into the ground, and instead it'll go into anybody that's touching the water?
I was not aware of that.
Yeah, would you like to know what our clients have us do when we run into this situation?
Yeah, I'd like to know what everyone likes to do.
They have us reattach the wire to the main grounding rod that's driven down into the ground, and then they put in a secondary grounding rod not too far away from that one as a backup. Were you aware that that's actually code nowadays? Did you know that code is what we call like the law for safety purposes? Do you know when they actually make codes or change them?
I do not.
Yeah, when somebody gets hurt. So this is just to protect you and your family, right? Like we really got to connect for them because they don't understand grounding and shit, man. Until I had one of my electrician clients sit down with me for a couple hours and we built a bunch of scripts, I didn't know what the hell it was. And I'd been in the trades for a long time.
Yeah.
Serious stuff, bro.
Yep.
So yeah, let's work a little bit more on that grounding presentation and get some questions that will really connect with them emotionally.
Okay.
Cool.
Thank you.
My pleasure, man. Trying to see if there's anything else here on my notes that I was writing. I don't think so. Anything else about that call that you wanted to discuss?
Not necessarily. Just going to see how it goes when we actually do the sit down and dig into the meat.
For sure. Well, you're going to walk them around, right? You're not just going to sit at the dining room table, right?
Yeah, I'm going to walk them around, show them how their outlets aren't really working. My tester isn't making them function, show them the panel, show them the ground wire, all those things.
Yeah. And what could you call a GFCI that was not GFCI? Like, what other name could we come up with it? Because I feel like it creates some confusion with clients.
So the way that I normally do it is I'll ask them, I'll bring up the term GFCI or shock protection right at the start. And then from that point on, I just use shock protection outlets
Good.
just so
Good.
they understand, okay, this is a GFCI outlet, but it gives you shock protection. I really try to reinforce that shock protection.
Does it give anything else?
I mean, that's the main purpose of it is shock. So
What could happen to an appliance that was plugged into one of those devices if it wasn't working properly?
uh, the appliance could go bad and you would never know until you touch it.
So, all of that being so, could it ruin that appliance?
It not necessarily. The appliance can go bad, and if the GFCI isn't actually functioning the way that it's supposed to, it can just allow it to stay on and keep working when something internal should be turning off that shock protection outlet.
And it could affect other plugs as well that are on that circuit?
It definitely could.
That might be something that we might want to bring into this conversation, right?
Okay.
Were you aware that when one of these goes bad, that anything that's on that circuit could injure or harm somebody or an appliance,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
Have you ever purchased a new XYZ before? What a refrigerator or whatever it is?
Yeah.
No, so you weren't aware that a new refrigerator today for a nice one is between $3,000 to $5,000.
Mhm.
Can you see now why our clients just get the ground fault shock protection upgraded rather than replacing expensive appliances?
Yep.
Again, what kind of mentality am I bringing into that?
Packer herd mentality.
Amen, sir. Cool, man. Well, I'm excited for you to get on some more calls for us to talk about,
Yes,
and
sir. So am I.
I'm also excited to hear that you and Bryan have been chatting behind the curtain. That's
Yeah, we're
good.
going to be helping each other out.
That's amazing, man. A triple braided cord is about impossible to break, right?
Mhm.
So iron sharpens iron. If you guys don't have somebody in the group that you're doing that kind of stuff with, you really, really want to do that. See how I didn't say what you should do? I'm not going to shit all over you this morning.
Yeah, don't do that.
Who's next? Who else wants to talk about some success? Bryan, I know you had one yesterday, didn't you? 30 something thousand.
Uh, 54,000 actually.
We do apologize.
Dang, get it right, Gene.
Um, I only ran two calls, but I sold four. So I got
How'd you pull that off?
two follow-ups.
Nice.
Yeah, so I started out first thing in the morning with one, got one a little bit later, and then yeah, the two I ran had them right there at the table. So altogether, it's about 54K in revenue.
Bryan, how do you follow up with clients?
So when I'm there, I try to leave with a yes or no. There's sometimes, outside circumstances
Sure.
that, that checks finances, yada, yada, whatever, smoke screen or not, whatever it is. I always ask, okay, so you've got to talk with your spouse and you can't get a hold of her now. When's a good time for me to either come back or get you guys on the phone to where we can, in case she has any questions, because we did cover a lot of information. I'm sure she's going to have some questions. So when's a good day and time for us to reconnect to be able to answer any questions she may have? and try to get a solidified time. Usually you at least get a day and like a time frame.
Hmm.
And so then I'm reaching
What
out.
if they give you a little bit of resistance on that?
So I'll tell them, be like, I'll ask them, do you think you can remember everything that we talked about and explain it in the way that I did and the importance of it?
Probably not, but I mean, I think I can probably hit the high points.
Okay. Do the high points validate everything though? Do
What
you
do you
think some
mean?
of those low points are just as important? Things like the safety switches that I showed you on your drain lines, and how they save millions of dollars in insurance claims every year.
Hmm.
Having those tangibles, because let's be honest, heating air is not tangible, right? So I like to have my little bag of tangibles here to show you some things that we're doing behind the scenes.
I don't care what
And
you'd like.
do, um, do you think your wife would like to see these things also and really grasp? Because there's a lot that goes into heating and air, correct? Like more
I mean,
than
I don't know. I just go over to
guy.
that. I just go over to that switch on the wall and dial it up or down.
And that's the thing. I wouldn't expect a lot of people to know the ins and outs of it. So I'm sure she's going to have questions. So, what's the best time to kind of reconnect?
Got it. Um, so I'm gonna ask another question here in a minute about. Well, you might have to remind me about the words that you use when you do call for a follow up. I'd like to know about that.
Mm-hmm.
But first, I wanted to share with you guys that in the top 3 objections script inside of the Facebook group, we actually handle this, and there's many ways to handle a situation like this. But the way that I do it is I go, Mr. Dykman, I understand. I use a feel, felt, found, my greatest fear. If you guys have ever heard of this, so I'll go, Mr. Dykman, I understand exactly how you feel, man. Believe it or not, a lot of my other customers feel the same way. They want to talk to their significant other. And what we found is that there are almost always questions, concerns, desires that vary from person to person. And my greatest fear is that you guys end up getting something that you really don't like. Maybe that breaks down on you more than you want. Maybe costs you more on your energy bill than you'd like to be seeing yourself spending. So would it be impossible for me to come back for maybe 10 or 15 minutes so that I can ask and answer a couple more questions for you guys so that I can guarantee your satisfaction? Would that be impossible? So
Really
it's,
making it about them.
yeah, I understand how you feel. Others have felt the same way, but what we found is this, and my greatest fear is this. So I understand exactly how you feel. I get clients all the time, want to talk to their significant other, just want to run it by her, see what she says, right? And what we found is that there's almost always questions, concerns, desires that vary from husband to wife, right? My
Mm-hmm.
greatest fear is that you end up getting stuck with, for the next 10 to 15 years, a system that you don't like. Maybe one that's too noisy. Maybe it doesn't cool the way that you want it to cool. Maybe it doesn't remove the humidity the way that you want to remove it. So would it be impossible for me to come back for 10 or 15 minutes to ask and answer a few more questions for you guys? That's the key, to ask and answer a few more questions so that I can guarantee your satisfaction. Would that be impossible? So I've had a tremendous amount of success with that. Right. I got to give them a reason. It's like, because a lot of clients are thinking, I don't want him to come back out. If he comes back out, there's going to be pressure to buy. Right. It's got to be,
Yeah.
how do I sell this in a way that they understand that it's to their benefit for me to come back out, not my benefit?
Right.
I get so many guys that I hear say stuff like this. Well, when you get your other quotes, could you please give me a call first before you make any decisions? Right? Um, I just don't like that. Don't think it's as effective, is all. So now back to the other question. What are you saying when you do follow up with somebody who you don't have a scheduled follow up with?
Yeah, so like the older follow-ups, right? What
Yeah. So ring, ring. I just answer the phone as a client. Hello.
so what I found is a lot of times they won't answer the phone. Nobody answers the phone for unknown numbers these days, right? So I've found a text message that I use and just tweak a little bit that I'll send uh, because it kind of forces them to engage
Yep.
and respond back. And that's been very effective for me.
What does that text message say?
So I'll say, Mr. So and so, this is Bryan from Brothers. We met back on, XYZ. Um, I wanted to readdress some things. You can reply to this message just one, two, or three. One being, not interested anymore. Two, still thinking about it. Three, ready to move forward. And then at the end, just put P.S. I've got some great news for you as well. Thank you. And it kind of almost makes them at least respond back with the number one, two, or three, which I usually still get like, still thinking about it or
What
something along
percentage
those
of
lines.
them text you back the same day?
Uh, 40 to 50.
That's pretty significant.
It is. It is because it didn't used to be that high. That's been my most effective method for getting them to respond back.
Do you guys know that statistically, it typically takes between 8 to 12 touches for somebody to respond to you?
Yeah,
Statistically.
I believe it. I believe
Between
it.
eight to 12 on average to have another conversation with somebody. Is it any wonder that salespeople don't like to follow up? Right? Like, and we'll follow up two, three, four times. Oh, I guess they're probably not interested. When statistically, they're just freaking busy, dog.
Yeah.
They're on the gram, or they're driving down the street, or they're at work, right? Our competition is not necessarily our competition. Our competition is anything that's going across that phone screen. So people are super distracted nowadays, and it's the follow up touches are increasing in number over the last couple of years. What it actually takes to get back with somebody. There are many, many different ways to follow up, and I want to kind of explore some of those together. But how many of you are using? Well, how many of you are just trying to use the phone as opposed to text message? Did you know that 85%, 85% of people don't answer their phone, like you said, Bryan, for numbers that they don't know? But that about 84 to 85% of people will look at a text message that's sent to them like within a couple of hours. It's
Except Gene
non-threatening.
Slade.
What's that? Yeah, right. Oh, I see them. I don't necessarily have the opportunity to respond at that moment. So text messages are great. Mix in a phone call as well, right? Also, did you guys know that it is more effective to follow up 3 times a day for 3 days than once a day for 30 days? Grant Cardone uses the 3-3-2 method. He's going to call you 3 times the first day, 3 times the second day, and then twice the third day. They make 11,000 phone calls a day at Grant's place. That's a lot. So one of my favorite things to do that's different than everybody else that I learned from Grant was video text messages, right? We're talking about being in competition with the news feeds, right? On social. If somebody sends you a text message, and let's say it's an audio text message, how likely are you to press that little play button?
Just long enough to hear it and then stop.
Yeah, but we're much more, there's curiosity there, right? Ooh, somebody left me an audio message. I wonder what they said, right? They're just much more likely to do that. And now if I send you a video, people love watching videos, don't they? So they're even more likely to open up a video text message. So that would be my go-to follow-up. And I would do something like this. Hey, Mr. Dykeman, this is Gene Slade from ABC Heating and Cooling. I was out the other day talking to you about how to get cleaner, fresher, healthier air and how to have a system that was reliable. Hopefully you remember me. I was laying in bed last night, staring at the ceiling, thinking about your job. I actually even have a couple of ideas. I talked to my supervisor. We got a couple of ideas how we might be able to make you an offer that you can't refuse. But I don't want to say anything until I take one more look at the job. Are you going to be around at about 6 o'clock tonight? Bing. And just send it off to them. That's one of my favorite follow-ups because if I can get back in the door, if they'll let me back in the door, the chances are pretty good I'm closing that deal.
Yeah.
Right.
I hadn't thought about that. That's good.
And on a lot of comfort advisor appointments, well, let me just put it this way. I know sales guys that sell more on their second appointment at a call than on their first.
Mm-hmm.
So it's, it could be you're laying in bed last night staring at the ceiling. It could be I was sitting on the couch last night thinking about your job, watching The Price is Right. Right? And I had a couple of ideas how I might be able to save you some money, maybe make you an offer you can't refuse. But I don't want to say anything until I take one more look at the job. All right? You're going to be home at about 6 o'clock? Yeah, I'll be home. All right, I'll see you then. If they'll let me back in the door, my closing ratio is over 90% on the ones that they let me back in the door. And I don't always necessarily, there's not always necessarily anything that I can do to change the price, right? I might go, we had a couple of ideas. I took another look at the job, and what we were thinking about isn't going to work, right? So I'm sorry for that. And I don't want to have wasted your night, right? I can't give you something for nothing, but what would be of value to us is this, right? What would be of value to us is if after the job was done, you would go put 3 reviews out on the internet. They just got to be slightly different at the review sites of our choice. And all I ask you to do is tell the truth about what it was like to do business with ABC Heating and Cooling. If you could do that, I could see myself going to the boss to see if I can get you a little bit of money off. Would you be willing to do that for us? Right? I can't give you something for nothing, but what would be of value to us is after the job, if we could place yard signs in your yard for the next 2 weeks and get a little bit of traction in the neighborhood. All the air conditioners are the same age. I'm sure that we could probably get somebody else interested. That would be of value to us. I could see myself going to the boss and seeing if I could get you a little bit of money off for that. Could you do that for us? Right? The other things about follow-up, we want to mix it up and get a variety, right? Not just telephone calls. So we've got telephone calls, we've got text messages, we've got video text messages, we've got audio text messages. What else could we use?
Email,
snail mail.
Yeah.
When was the last time any of you ever sent a thank you card to a customer? Thank you for your business or thank you for your time. Those are the 2 that I had printed up. If they closed, obviously they got to thank you for your business. If they didn't, they got to thank you for your time. I had stamps in the car. Soon I'd sit in the driveway, write a quick little note, 1 or 2 or 3 sentences. Hey, Mr. Dykeman, thank you so much for having us out to your home. Really enjoyed meeting you and spending time with you. Please give Fluffy a biscuit for me and kiss her, right? Give Fluffy a little pat on the head for me. Tell her Gene said hi. Whatever, right? Just because nobody does it. And we want to look different, right? What else? What other ways can we follow up? And guys, just feel free to just unmute yourself if you got a way to follow up that we're not talking about. Do you think of any other ways, Bryan?
So we covered calls, texts, video messages, emails. Not really that I could think. I'm probably missing a big one. I feel like just by that expression on your face.
There's like 100 different ways to follow up, dude. You could send them cookies, right? There's, I think that there's a company called At Your Service or something like that, that you can get like automated to send your clients cookies. I had somebody send me a shoe one time.
Just one?
Yeah, one shoe, and the note that was with it was something like, "Now that I've got a foot in the door, I was hoping to have a lunch with, I was hoping to buy you lunch, right? Or something like that. I had
They better
another
bring that
one.
other shoe.
Yep, exactly. I had another one where a lady sent me a remote control helicopter. And the note was, um, saw this helicopter, thought that you would love it. Looking forward to giving you the remote when we meet. She kept the remote, right? So now I got a
Well,
helicopter that I can't use. I thought
I
that that
left
was super
shoe.
cool. Um, I have seen Grant Cardone. He'll order pizza from a local pizza shop, and he'll have them take out one of the slices and use a magic marker to write on the top of the box, right, as you open it up. Cardone University has the missing piece to your success, right? And one piece of pizza is missing, right? And he'll tip the delivery driver $50 or something like that. And people are like, wow, he gave him a really nice tip too. He sets a lot of appointments that way. A lot. He spends a lot of money on pizza. So, I mean, those are some of the ways that just come to mind, right? We want to be unique. I'll give you one more. I had a lady who was up in New York, and she was talking to me about an on-site, and she's just ghosting me, man. I mean, I felt like I was just right there, so close to closing it, and it was like 2 weeks I couldn't get a hold of this lady. I was starting to get frustrated. So I opened up Snapchat, and I found a filter that made my face look like Jabba the Hutt. And I made up a little song, and I used a different voice, and I went, oh where do Amanda be? Oh where do she be? Like, and I get one more, line. It was something like, I've been trying to call her for 2 weeks, and she won't call me, right? It's something stupid. And I sent it off to her, and within 30 seconds, I got the laughing emoji, and she goes, I'll call you as soon as I'm done with what I'm working on. She called me up, gave me 35 grand, another 35 grand, another 35 grand. I made a couple $100,000 off of that text message.
Wow.
Because I was just willing to be silly and get out of the box. And she thought it was hilarious. She sent it to friends. Like she was like, this is the most unique follow-up I have ever had, right? Sometimes we've just got to be willing to get outside of this little tiny box that we put ourselves in and just be silly. You're able to be silly with your kids, right? It's okay to be silly with customers too. So I don't know. Hopefully that somebody uses that, because I love the Snapchat filter that's got the little tiny head and the big mouth and the big teeth. You've seen that one, right?
Yeah.
Hilarious, man. Make people's day, make them smile, make them feel good about doing business with you, right? That's our whole job. Make people feel good about buying from us. Anything else you can add to that, big dog?
No, I like some of those things. I can't promise I'll be buying pizzas on the regular, but no, I like the idea of the video message a lot,
Yeah.
because it gets them personalized back with your face again, and that's a whole different connection than just, a voicemail or a text message or something. So that's one I'll certainly be trying.
There is a rule too. And hang on a second. So the rule, I didn't have a very good sleep score last night. How about that? The rule for follow-ups and video text messages is you get one take. Why?
Mm-hmm.
Why would I say just do one take and send it? What if I mess up? What if I stutter? You think they care?
Just being you.
That's real.
It's real.
100%. So what if you stumble over your words a little bit? Who gives a crap? You're human, right? The other thing is, if you don't do that, you will take 10 or 15 or 20 videos. Nothing will ever be good enough. And then in the middle of taking the actual video that you're going to send, somebody will call you or some sort of notification will come up and you won't do it. So one take, send it out. That was what Grant taught me. So I don't think there's anything else that comes to mind to share about the follow-up side. Anybody here got anything that you want to talk about today, or anything specifically that you need help with, or any other success stories that you'd like to share? Yes, no,
I'll
maybe so.
chime in and say one of those sales I got yesterday. She actually already had a quote for $7,000. This was on a trailer on a mobile
Okay.
home, and I was able to sell her at almost 15,000. And the way I was able to do that is because everybody was coming in with the same approach. We're just going to swap this unit out, blah blah blah. And I asked her because she was a woman, so I know women love their storage space. I don't know if anybody here's familiar with the
Absolutely.
Vortex units. The air handlers in that closet, it's loud as all get out. So I just said, Miss So and so, let me ask you a question. Would you like to have another closet right there in your kitchen, a pantry, so to speak? She said, yeah, that would
Hell
be great.
yeah.
I was like, well, what if we went back with a package unit and everything was outside? You didn't have that noisy piece of machinery next to your bedroom anymore. You gained a whole closet space that you could build shelves and use as a pantry and do all of that. And she's like, that's amazing. Nobody's brought that up. I was like, well, I like to think outside the box a little bit here for you and, really provide solutions to any issues you may have that you don't even know about.
Yeah.
And that's what got it.
I love it. Got to be different, dog.
Yeah.
Got to be different than everybody else. If you look the same, smell the same, walk the same, you are the same. You
Yeah.
want to be paid the way that other people are not paid, you got to do the shit that other people are not doing. So, good stuff, man. How about you, Anthony? You got anything this morning?
What's up? Um, yeah, it's been a little rough for me lately. A lot of one-leggers. I had one where the guy just like wouldn't bite at all. He was like in a meeting, going back and forth. Um, the wife was there initially, but as soon as I got there, within like 5-10 minutes, she left to go to work or something like that. Couldn't get a hold of her after. Uh, the Mister was he was in between meetings, so he came out. I was able to chat with him for a second, and as I'm going through everything, he's like, "Oh, I gotta go. I just want you to email me all the information, and I want to know like the model numbers of the systems we're getting and for the price and everything like that, so he could do his research." Um, I mean, I could go over all that with him, right? I just need to sit down with him and be able to talk to him. So he was just like extremely adamant about doing it that way. Um,
Via email?
yes. Via email. And another one I had, the husband was
Are you
there
are
the
you
whole.
relenting on that?
I mean, I didn't really like go over pricing or anything with him. Um,
What I mean is, are you going to send him the pricing via email?
no,
Good.
no,
Cool.
no. I don't want to. I definitely don't want to do that.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, that could cost you your job.
yeah,
You
yeah, so,
continue to do all of that. You continue to operate that way. Shit. So
yeah,
I would even tell him, look, I would actually love to do that, Mr. Drummond. Thing is, though, if I did that, I could lose my job. Like if I start going around sending out emailed quotes without explaining them to a customer, like my boss wants me to, I could find myself on the street. You wouldn't want
yeah,
me to be on the street, would you?
yeah.
Right.
That's a
So
good one. I had another client. The husband was there. As soon as I walked in, he told me. I went through the greeting and I was like, if we come across any deficiencies in your system, not saying we will, but do you want me to go? You want me to go over them with you or keep them to myself? He was just like, since I had my heart attack, my wife doesn't trust me making financial decisions. So anyway, after the call, I'm going through the done deal presentation with him. Wife comes in while I'm doing that. I asked her, "Hey, do you want me to start from scratch here?" And she was just like, "Nope, he's making the call right now." And he was like, "I want to go with just the bare minimum today." And then she looks at him. She looks at the price and looks at him all crazy. And he just walks walks completely back on it, and I'm just like, oh no. But they have some issues that they're going to need addressed. But I was able to bounce back yesterday. I was able to sell a system for just a basic system for $14K.
Nice.
It worked out. I gave them all the options, but I think they were in a little bit of financial hardship. I've done a lot of work for them already, so we did have some trust there. So we're going to go ahead and install that on Friday and get them some cooling. So I needed that to get refreshed, but it's been hot out here. It's been killing me. I'm not used to it yet.
Yeah. I think we need to have a conversation about getting you a little bit of help out there.
Yeah.
I talked to Luke a little bit, but I've got some other ideas how we might be able to assist you. Let me just mull it over. If you don't hear anything by Tuesday, remind me that I was talking to you about this, okay?
Okay.
Cool. All right. I got a hard stop right now because I got another meeting that just started. I will see you guys on Tuesday. Have a kick-ass weekend. I love you guys. All right. See you.